Let's begin by answering the question, what is a story? Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng kwento? A story is an account of imaginary or real people and events told for an entertainment. In this module, we are going to talk about elements of a story. Lesson 1 will be about setting and characters of the story. Lesson 2 will be about plot of the story, and Lesson 3 is about theme and points of view. Let's begin with Lesson 1, setting and characters of the story. Uunahin natin ang characters o ito ang tinatawag nating mga tauhan in Filipino. Character refers to the person, animal, or imaginary creature that appears in a story. Ang character ay maaaring tawagin nating main character or lead character, katulad ng sa kwento na inyong babasahin sa module na The Good Samaritan. So, sa kwentong ito, ang ating main character or lead characters are the Samaritan and the wounded man. Yung iba namang mga characters o tauhan ay tatawagin nating minor characters. Ito ang other characters katulad ng priest, Levite, innkeeper, and thieves. May dalawang uri ng characters na dapat din ninyong makilala. Una ay ang protagonist at saka ang ikalawa ay ang antagonist. Ang protagonist ay ang hero sa kwento, samantalang ang antagonist naman ay ang villain o kontrabida sa kwento. Sa module na ating babasahin na The Good Samaritan, ang ating protagonist or hero sa storya ay ang Samaritan at ang ating namang villain or kontrabida ay ang mga thieves or magnanakaw. Mayroon ding mga uri or kinds ang ating mga tauhan, kinds of characters. Ito una ay ang dynamic. Dynamic when a character's qualities change according to his or her experiences, mistakes, and encounters with other characters. Ibig sabihin, kapag siya ay nagbabago mula sa pagiging masama and in the end of the story ay nagiging mabuting tao siya, ibig sabihin ang character na ito ay isang dynamic. Kung ang character naman ay hindi nagbabago, for example, mula sa kanyang pagsisimula sa story ay mabait na siya at nung matapos ang story ay mabait pa rin siya, ibig sabihin, ang character na ito ay isang static. Ibig sabihin, when a character does not change or develop at all, ito ay tinatawag nating static. His or her character remains the same all throughout the story. Another element of the story ay ang setting. Setting is the time and place in which the story unfolds. Ang time sa story ay pwedeng in the past, at present, in the future, during the day, or baka naman sa gabi, at saka in any season. And also, the place could be imaginary, pwede rin namang totoo. Let's now proceed with Lesson 2. Ito ay ang plot of the story. Plot is one of the elements of a narrative consists of several events. The events tell the action and conflict that leads to its climax and conclusion. It is the storyline plan or scheme. Ito ang mga pangyayari sa kwento. Para gumanda ang ating plot, mayroon tayong mga tinatawag na literary devices. Una, ito ay ang chronological or sequential arrangement of events. Ang pangalawa, and medias res. At ang pangatlo ay ang flashback. Ito ang ating tatalakayin sa lesson na ito. Let's now talk about chronological sequential arrangement of events. Ganito ang mga pangyayari sa kwento. Nauuna ang exposition. Exposition will provide background information, setting, and information about the characters. Tapos, susundan ito ng rising action. It will introduce and develop conflict or main problem na haharapin ng ating characters. Pagkatapos niyan ay susunod naman ang climax. Climax will show the highest point of interest, suspense, and turning point of the story. Ito, malimit yung pinaka-gusto nating parte ng story. Pinaka-intense na bahagi. Of course, it will be followed by the following action. It will show how the characters solve the conflict or problem or ties up loose ends. And it will end up with the resolution. It's how things end up in the story. Ito ay ang chronological sequential arrangement of events. Another way of writing a story is the in medias res. In medias res is a Latin phrase which means into the middle of things. Unlike the direct narration pattern of story events, another related story is narrated inside the main plot line. It is narrating from the midpoint rather than the beginning, usually opening with a dramatic action rather than the exposition. Sa ganitong paraan ay nauuna ang isang bahagi ng kwento na kung tutuusin ay nasa kalagitnaan na ng kwento at kailangan mong maunawaan kung bakit nagkaganon ang kanilang sitwasyon. So you have to go back to some of the parts and it will be developed eventually in the story. Another very effective way of writing a story is flashback. This device presents to the reader all or most of the events that have taken place before the events that are currently unfolding in the story. The events may be past narratives by characters of their dreams or memories to create a background to the present situation, place, or person. This may be placed at the beginning or may be inserted into the normal chronological order of events. Ito yung medyo bumabalik dun sa mga taon or mga sitwasyon na nangyari na bago pa man ang sitwasyon na ipinapakita sa atin sa story. Alright, now let's move on with Lesson 3, Theme and Point of View. Let's begin with theme. Theme is the big idea or the lesson the author wants you to take away after reading the story. This is the main idea that weaves the story together. The why, the underlying ideas of what happened in the piece of literature. Ito talaga ang pinakamensahe ng author o nagsusulat ng kwento na dapat ay ating makita at dapat ay ating matutunan mula sa kwento. Let's now take a look at the common themes that you might have noticed in the stories that you have read. You might have noticed that some of the themes there talked about hard work, or maybe courage, jealousy, teamwork, honesty, loyalty, friendship, love, and of course, family. You just have to remember that a theme is the lesson or the message the author wants you to learn. And of course, it is a real-world connection. And it is very specific so that you will see that at the end of the story, you will really feel that it is what the story is about. A theme, however, is not a summary or just a message to your story. Now let me give you 5 steps to identify the theme of a story. Number 1. Summarize the plot by writing a one-sentence description for the exposition, conflict, rising action, climax, falling action, and the resolution. After you write that sentence, you can also identify the subject of the work. Makikita mo kung ano nga ba ang pinakasentro na mensahe ng kwentong iyong binabasa. Number 3, identify the insights or truth that was learned about the subject. Ano nga ba ang lesson na makukuha mo sa story na ito? Number 4, state how the plot presents the primary insights or truth about the subject. And of course, number 5, write one or more generalized declarative sentences that state what was learned and how it was learned. And then kapag ka nakikita mo kung ano talaga ang mensaheng nais iparating sa iyo, iyon ang ating theme of the story. Now let's talk about the point of view. Point of view is determined by the author's descriptions of characters, setting, and events told to the reader throughout the story. Now, let me help you understand the 5 possible viewpoints. Una ay ang first person. When the narrator tells I or my story, also this may be we or our story. In short, kapag ginagamitan ng author ng I or my o di kaya ay we or our, it is in first person. Second person is kapag ginagamit ng author ay you or your, yan ay second person. Ang third person naman po ay ang his or her. Kapag ginagamit ni author ang she or he, kaya ay his or her. So, the narrator tells his or her story and does not reveal any character's thoughts or feelings. Characters may reveal their feelings through actions or dialogue. So, ibig sabihin, the author will describe the characters based on their actions and what they do, but he's not going to say, the author is not going to say that this character is happy or sad. Now let's take a look at this example. He walked down the street. A man drove by and yelled, "Hey, watch where you're going." Here you cannot see a word angry, but you know that a man drove by and yelled. So you have to think about what this means. Kung mayroong third person objective, mayroon din namang third person limited. When the narrator tells his or her story and reveals one character's thought or feelings, ibig sabihin, isa sa mga characters ay direktang ibinabahagi o na-describe ng author. Yan ay third person limited. Isa lang ang kumpirmado ang feelings, yung iba ay hindi na. Example, said that his girlfriend had left him. Ben wasn't paying attention as he walked down the street. A man drove by, yelled, "Hey, watch where you're going." So this time, nakikita natin kung ano ang nangyari kay Ben. So, Ben is sad. Sad is a feeling. But, the man who drove by and yelled, although we may conclude that this man is angry, but the author is not telling us that he's angry, only that he is describing this man as a man drove by, yelled. So, yan ay third person limited. Pero, kung silang dalawa ay binibigyan natin ng feelings, ito naman ay ang third person omniscient. The narrator tells his or her story and reveals more than one character's thought or feelings. Example, sad that his girlfriend had left him. Ben wasn't paying attention as he walked down the street. Tom was also having a bad day, and as he was driving by Ben, Tom tried to startle him. "Hey, watch where you're going," Tom yelled intimidatingly.